Hello and welcome to Kickback with Kelly and Barbara. It's your Wednesday edition and a little bit wacky.
That's right. Today it's all about the tunes. I wish I could sing for you, but I will not. I will avoid having your ears bleed.
You don't want to hear that.
Well, yeah, till this day, every time I sing, Sienna she's like, no,
yeah,
don't do it.
My daughter's just like...
Since birth, it's been making her cry.
Yeah.
Never mind. We're gonna get the pros in instead. We've got a stellar line. I've got two great people coming in. But first, of course, we always have our giveaways.
That's right.
Today, we've got a $50 voucher from Lash Inc. to be given away. You can get your brows done. You can get your eyelashes done once they are able to reopen. $50 off. That's a good chunk, man. But
yeah,
the mechanics,
I just want to stop looking like a naked mole rat.
I want to wake up like this.
Wake up looking awake. That would be a good start. All you need to do is make sure that you are liking and sharing the Get Active TV Facebook page. And make sure you also share our show. Spread the love a little bit to your friends and tell us, what are they telling us, Barbara?
What is the one thing that you cannot leave home without? I mean...
For you?
I want to say...
You want to say something other than your phone?
Yeah, I feel like a phone is a default nowadays.
Yep, so that's just an accessory, it's an appendage.
I feel like I should always have my water bottle with me. That is the practical side of me. The other part of me is if I was stranded on a desert island and I needed to bring something...
It would be your phone.
It would be my eyelash curler.
Right, so I guess we know where Barbara's priorities lie. Make sure you wake up and look good.
Unless I have eyelash extensions, then I don't need it. And then I can bring something else.
Which would be?
Moisturizer. Because ideally, if I'm on a desert island, you need to moisturize.
She's got some brains, this one. Anyway, so let's get on to the actual bulk of the show today. We're going to be joined by Joe Tan. Joe's going to come join us. Barbara, can you shift on over? Let's get Joe in.
I'm going to scoot. Joe, welcome.
Thank you guys for having me.
Sit on my little stump.
I like it. I like it. I like our little setup at the moment. Okay. So, how are you doing, Joe?
I'm good. I'm happy to be out. It's been a while since. So glad that we are at phase one, so I have more time to come out. Finally meet new people and meet you guys. So.
Yeah, exactly.
Amazing. Well, congratulations on Music for a Cause 2020. That happened like 2 weeks ago. You're the founder of the Love Action Project. Tell us a little bit about that. Love Action Project plus Music for a Cause.
So, Love Action Project is actually a social enterprise. We actually started off as a not-for-profit movement. The whole idea was really we were volunteering on a voluntary basis, and then we got a group of friends that came on board as we volunteered, and then we realized that we wanted to do a little bit more. We wanted to be more present in a way that we can get people with the right expertise to come together and then contribute more beyond just coming together and then doing an activity that they're told to do so. So the activity we're doing was actually grocery delivery. So we had like 120 people turn up, and at the point of time we were thinking, okay, these guys, some of them are really like, senior management people, some of them are really good at computer stuff. So we're just having a chat, right? We're like, okay, can we do more? Can we do more than just packing groceries? And then that was where I thought, you know what, I'm going to start something. I'm going to go approach an organization. We're going to see what we can do, what they need, and I'm going to call the right people to come in and contribute more than they can. And that's how we started it. The first one was with Kwong Wai State Hospital, where we work with the elderlies, with the wheelchair-bound elderlies.
Yeah.
So what we did was we went there and I pitched to them. I said, you know what, can we spend an afternoon with them? And so they said, okay, let's do a Mother's Day carnival there. And I said, okay, that's cool. So let me try to design something. So what I did was I went back, I conceptualized, I said, okay, you know what? We have the whole hospital there. Let's do like a little carnival where we set up game booths.
Yeah.
And then the elderly will be wheeled around the whole hospital themselves, and then they'll play games, and then they'll get like little ticket stubs. And then they can, and then they can change it, exchange for their daily necessities.
Your childhood.
So how is that? Although to be fair, right? Like I would just be excited. It's just like, Auntie, vouchers.
No, so they were.
So how did Music for a Cause come about? Because that's been going on for about 4 years now.
Yes. So moving from there, then we evolved to a social enterprise, and we started doing events of that kind of magnitude.
Yeah.
So 4 years ago, what we did was I was at a music festival, and then we thought about like, what could we do more with musicians, like local musicians. Some of them were my friends, and they were asking, I think what you're doing is interesting, and can we do something? Can the musicians come here and do something? So then I thought, you know what, you guys can. Why don't we create a music festival, and then create like a little expo-like atmosphere. We bring in local entrepreneurs, all Singapore stuff. And then we have Singapore social causes there. And not just one, but multiples. Yep. So what happened is that when they come on board, the public come on, they can listen to music and they can walk around the festive area, and then they can talk to organizations.
And it's also about increasing awareness, right?
That's
A
right.
lot of the time people like, we want to volunteer, we want to do good things for society. Obviously this is pre-virus, but you don't know where to start.
Yes.
Which organization actually needs our help?
And who needs it more, and which one resonates best with you. So to be able to shop around and see which cause sort of appeals to you best, like that for me is just like a win-win, right?
Yeah.
But obviously with the virus going around and with Circuit Breaker, and MFAC was 2 weeks ago, so you definitely weren't doing this in the typical expo format that you had before.
Yes.
What were some of the challenges that you had bringing this virtual?
I think we actually wanted to keep it on the ground, but when the second extension of the circuit breaker came up, we kind of had to make a decision to see how we're going to do it. And at that point in time, we identified and we realized that the biggest, the group that were probably not talked about more were the freelance musicians. There were also hawkers that were having some problems. And that was where we thought, you know what, the musicians have been there for us for the past 4 years, right? So this is our 5th edition. And we thought, you know what, let's feature them. Let's talk about them. Let's talk about how can we help them. And then let's offer them a platform where they can share their music, and let's call for fundraiser at the back end. So that's how we started it. And we thought, and it was like 3.5 weeks. So we said, okay, let's do it. And then we got our partners, and then that's how it happened.
Amazing, it was great. Like I tuned in, I watched it.
Yep.
Jack and
Jack
I were
and
there, and they performed at Kelly's wedding like 6 years ago
I saw it.
in Langkawi.
Yeah,
it
like,
was the best thing.
Whenever they perform, like Justin and I are like, yes, we'll watch, we'll do whatever, just because it just sort of like relives all those emotions. But it's nice to see how the communities have managed to pivot so quickly. I think going and bringing any form of event and bringing it virtual, if you said even 6 months ago, how fast can we do this? People would have backed off and gone,
We're like, okay, we need a couple of months to like sort it out.
yeah.
And now everyone, like in the span of weeks,
Yeah.
they're just doing this massive turnaround and change of the dynamic and the approach. Awesome. Well, we are going to go for a short break.
Yes.
When we come back, Joey is going to join us as well. This is not confusing at all. We're going to have Joe and Joey in here with us. Don't forget to drop us a comment and tell us what is one thing that you cannot leave the house without, and maybe you'll just walk away with a $50 voucher from Lash Inc. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Kickback with Kelly and Barbara. Kelly's popped off for a quick coffee, a little bit late for one, but that's okay. We are joined by homegrown musician Joie Tan. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
And so you guys are acquainted.
Yes.
Because obviously you were part of Music for a Cause and you're one of the organizers.
Yes.
But is this the first time you guys have physically met?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we met before, but we didn't have a chance to talk. Most
Yeah.
of the time we talk through like texts
Yeah.
and all that. So this year is also the same, right? Because we're going virtual. So we
And
talk.
we're not
Yeah.
related, right?
No.
100% like no relation going on when we arranged for this.
Our forefather.
Look,
You never know.
Yeah, I'd be honored, man. She's just like a great
Oh
musician.
my goodness, and me too, wanting to create such a
Yes.
great event.
So, I mean, we spoke to Joe about, you know, the pivot that he had to have when it came to going into a virtual event. What was it like for you? Like, as a musician going in, obviously you're very used to going up on stage, performing, engaging with the crowd. I've seen you perform. I absolutely love it when you perform.
Thank you.
What were some of the challenges that you faced as a musician going into this?
Online? Doing this online? I think, so we worked with EvenX, which they're so great because they give you a very clear list of instructions. And it's like, oh, you have
Step by step.
Yeah, you have to make sure you're syncing up the audio and the video. And then after you're done, you have to pause for 10 seconds. And then you do that for all the songs in your set. And you have to make sure that you're fine with the whole take, or you gotta start from the top again. And that's something that I was like, oh my goodness, at home, I take my time with recordings and I can always just, cut in. Or, cut in anywhere I want to. But this one, it's if I mess up halfway, go from the start, go do the 1, 2, 3, cut, start again, and then 10-second wait. And if you miss the 10-second wait, you start from the top again.
Oh my gosh.
So that was very...
and you're doing it all alone as well, because it's not like you have other people in studio to help you with it.
Yeah, and then having to engage with the camera was another thing. But I think it was great because I just felt very taken care of. We had video chats to keep us up to date with what to do. If I had any questions, there was always a WhatsApp group with myself and the organizers and the EvenX team in there as well.
Everyone has like a million WhatsApp groups now, can I just say?
Yep.
So, okay, so for as long as I've known you for a couple of years now, and I've known that you've wanted to move away to the US.
Yeah.
You launched your EP in 2018. How have things been since the launch of your EP?
So the launch was, one of the hardest things I've ever had to do. I'm still paying it off.
Oh.
And because it was a full-length album actually, plus the launch. It's a lot of money involved, and I'm not signed to anyone, so independent, right?
Yeah.
And then following that, at the same time, I was still applying for my visa, and the visa that I was going for is an artist visa. So that allows me to work and live in the US for 3 years. And I need to get a lawyer for that. And so there are lawyer fees, then there are immigration fees. And if you want them chop, you pay an extra like 1,500 USD.
Yeah.
So it's like, where am I gonna find this money?
Where is this? just pick it off the trees.
Yeah, and of course, on April 1st this year, I finally, after like 2.5 years of applying, I received my notification from the lawyer. They were like, "Oh, you got your visa," and it started in November last year. And you have 3 years. The time is already ticking.
Started,
but I can't fly. I don't know when I'm gonna ever get to fly, and life.
but that's such a big journey for you to take. It's almost like you're finally getting there step by step.
I know.
And COVID has just put a pin in so many things for a lot of people.
Yeah.
You've been in long distance for the longest time as well.
For 3.5 years.
And you guys are doing great. It can't have been easy with Charlie getting
the virus.
Well.
Yeah.
I mean, as a couple, you must have been so worried about him.
Yep. And things operate very differently, country to country.
Yeah.
So just back home here, just being far away and watching him, suffer from the different side effects and him just getting through the virus, that was very stressful for me. And, his mom was taking care of both him and his dad, and she never got it. She did a test recently and no antibodies, so she never got it, but she was taking care of 2 guys in the house, going from house to hall, Lysol.
Girl power, man.
I know.
Woman's strength, just so you know. And I just want to understand, from a local musician's point of view, what spurred this journey into wanting to move away? You're not the first local artist who's wanted to move overseas to pursue music as a career and stuff like that. So what is the driving factor for going away to do this?
Actually, for me, the main point wasn't like, oh, I want to go there and do music. For me, it's I want to go there and live forever, for the rest of my life.
You're like, I'm done.
I've always known that I want to live overseas. And I think my parents have known that as well since I was young.
Yeah.
And I mean, there are a bunch of countries that I would love to live in Bali someday, maybe retirement, right? But I want to live and work in the States, raise my kids there. So that was why I wanted to work there. And I think having music in my life, getting to pursue that there would be a nice start. So that's why I decided to take the artist visa first, to get myself legally there to live and work. And then from there, we'll just see.
Legally being the key term here.
Yeah.
So I want to know, you work with a lot of musicians in Singapore. You are part of the local music community. how do you guys think local music, or the industry for local musicians has bloomed and evolved over I would say the last 5 to 10 years?
Well, I wrote about this some time back. I spoke about how people in Singapore are really diverse, right? So when you're diverse, you have a lot of choices, a lot of varieties of music. And I think because we are a little bit more exposed to the Western culture in terms of the music, and even Eastern pop and Chinese music, and even the different languages music, I think we tend to, because we're so exposed, we tend to prefer music that are a bit more popular, a bit more mainstream. And I think for Singapore musicians, we've come a long way. I think many years back when we listened to Singapore musicians on air, we'll be laughing like, oh my God, it's a Singapore music. But now we've reached a point that people are starting to take note of them, and they're moving overseas. I guess one of the biggest challenge for them is how small Singapore is. And in a way, because the region in ASEAN speaks different language.
Yeah.
So then the take-up rate for that particular language and music is kind of blurred up because of the different languages as compared to in US, in Australia, where you have a big country, the listeners popping in are higher.
Even if you only have 5% of the population listening to you, that's a couple of million right there.
Absolutely. So I think that is a challenge. But I don't think that, to be honest, I don't think that local music are underappreciated as much. I think it's just really bringing it forward more, a little bit more, and trying to push them out to internationally. And
so we want to be able to get that reach.
But I guess in order to do that, we must first embrace the Singapore musician culture. And I think we need to start pushing that out.
A little bit more.
That's right.
What about yourself? How's it been for you?
What he said, I think that's a good point to make. Like a lot of musicians, or at least people in general, in the past when they listen to something, they're like, is this local? Oh, okay. Then they become disinterested, which is very weird. Then you can't complain that there's no support, because if on your own you find out that something's local and you become disinterested, there's something to think about right there.
Yeah.
But I think it's so great because there are a lot of companies, corporate events, or even just schools in general trying to encourage the support of the local art scene in general, having their students interview local artists, not just singers, but actual artists who paint, or even journalism. They want you to go out in the industry, find people who are in there and active right now, find out about their experiences and how they work. And I think it's great because it's more relevant to your industry. Like here, there's no point, interviewing someone who's based in Australia or the US and then trying to make that work here and saying, oh, it's not good enough. You can't because we all have different experiences.
Yes.
So I think it's wonderful that educational institutions are beginning to recognize the importance of this connection and interviewing people here.
Almost like the minority of jobs in that sense. So, okay, Music for a Cause. We've had 4 successful years. You did the 5th year this year. A little birdie told me that it's the last year that you guys are doing it. After so many successful years, why are you kind of wrapping it up now?
I think it's really for practical reasons. I have a son now. My team of 6, we all have our own families, and I think what we want to do is also we want to remain current. Music is evolving. Music for a Cause. Maybe I share it now. I think it's a little bit more exclusive, but we are thinking of moving over to another group of people who will take it to the next level. I think it's important to continue to evolve, and for us to let go and be there to watch it is good enough. But I think the next group of younger people need to come in and promote. And I want to give a shout out to the Music Society Singapore, SGMUSO. They are actually a charity organization in Singapore. They are trying to promote Singapore music. And I think working with them for the past 2 years, we start to realize that it is important to have entities like this to talk about music. And I think moving forward, we do want to work closely with them and see how from 6 years onward, maybe they'll be a little surprised that we come back in.
And that's actually very interesting, because I know it's almost like a TV series, right? Like you go for 5 seasons and then they just write it for the sake of writing it, just because it's hard to let go of. So the fact that you recognize that, okay, now is the time for us to let go of this baby so it can grow on to bigger things with a fresh pair of eyes and we can just supervise, I think that's great. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. Before we wrap things up on this segment, we've got a little challenge for you. So, Joey is going to be picking out words. Okay. We've got 1 minute on the clock, and she's going to be humming a tune.
Okay.
You've got 60 seconds to get through as many of these songs as possible. Whether you name the artist or the title of the song, doesn't matter.
Okay.
Okay, but all the answers are on here. So we're gonna go for 60 seconds. You can pick any of these. So I'm just gonna hold them all out here, and then you just pick and go. Okay,
Okay.
we'll see how many you guys can get. Are we ready?
Is there a genre? Is there like a genre?
It will be stuff that everyone kind of knows. It's an overarching
Oh my God.
pop theme.
Okay.
Okay, girl, this is when we put your skills to the test, y'all.
Okay.
You ready?
I can't say any words, right?
Can't say any words. You can only hum. Can't sing.
Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
We got it.
Yeah.
We're gonna go in 3, 2, 1. Let's go.
Okay.
No.
You can pass if you want.
Okay, pass.
I have no idea. It's so tough.
All right, let's go.
Oh, come on, you gotta know this one.
Justin Bieber.
Okay, I can't. Don't
Okay,
even
okay, okay.
He knows which one it is.
Yeah.
I'm gonna skip this one.
Play the funky music.
Yes.
I'm so proud of this list that I did up.
Pass.
The moment she sees a black man, she's like, pass.
Rehab.
Yes.
Time. Good.
Oh my
What?
God.
Oh my God, I'm so
Not
sorry.
too
I'm so bad at it.
Not too bad. I want to see what were the ones
What
that
were the
he
ones?
didn't get.
Yeah.
Okay, you got bloodlines. That was the I want it. I know you want
Oh
it.
yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Hotline Bling. I don't
Oh
want
yeah. Drake. Yeah.
He knows this
I
one
know.
I skipped because their shop is.
Oh, Macklemore. Yeah.
I didn't even think
quite
of that part. All I thought of was the rap part, and if I go.
It's gonna sound like every other rap.
If she sang it, I mean.
Awesome. All right. Well, we're gonna go off for a break. When we come back, Joey's gonna be bringing us through these sun salutations. But Joe, thank you for joining us on the
Thank
show
you for
so
having me.
far
Thank
and
you.
bringing this insight. And hopefully, we get to see what new things you can bring to the table in future years.
Yes.
We're gonna go for a break. Don't go anywhere.
Step right up, draw the next cut. You water the fight, we're animals, so get along with everybody else. Is this ship
Welcome back to Kickback with Kelly and Barbara. It's Joey's turn now to take the lead as she brings us through some sun salutations. So whatever you're doing at home, if you're sat on your couch lounging about, jump on up and get on in it. Joey, take it away.
All right, we're gonna stand at a 45-degree angle so they can see what we're doing. And we're just gonna have our palms facing forwards. You can have your big toes to touch or your feet hip-width distance apart. Just standing straight and still here, gazing forward. Shrug your shoulders up to your ears, roll them up and back away from them. As you inhale, arms come up, palms facing each other. Take an exhale here, hinging from the hips. Take your forward fold, crown to the mat. Bend in the knees if you're tight in the hamstrings today. Inhale, halfway lift, looking up halfway, flat back. Palms on the mat or on your shins. As you exhale, palms on the ground, and you can either step or hop back into your plank pose. Now in your plank, your bum is low, shoulders are stacked over wrists and your elbows. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, either drop your knees down to a knees, chest, chin, or take a chaturanga. Inhale, slide it up, upward facing dog. Nice breathing.
Thanks.
And as you exhale, I know, tuck your toes under into a downward facing dog. So in your downward facing dog, a lot of people think if you're not grounding your heels, you're not doing it right, but that's not true. You want to bend in your knees, bring that stomach to your thigh, and then only from here, trying to ground your heels down without compromising that distance. Gazing at your navel here, let's just breathe for 2. And 1. Inhale, look between your palms, step or hop forward into your halfway lift. Flat back. Exhale, fold all the way down, crown to the mat. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, palms to heart center. We're gonna go for one more round, so ensure that you're not arching that lower back. Tuck your tailbone in here, chest shining forwards. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold all the way down, hinging only from your hips. Send your crown to the mat. Inhale, look up halfway, flat back. And as you exhale, step back or jump back into your plank. Lightly, no sound. Take an inhale here. And as you exhale, drop your knees down to knees, chest, chin, or take a chaturanga. Inhale, slide it up, upward facing dog. Knees can be on or off the ground. As you exhale, tuck your toes under, downward facing dog. You can stay here for as long as you like. You can pedal your feet out, gazing at your belly button here. Elbows and knees are soft. And whenever you're ready, inhale, look between your palms, step or hop forwards, halfway lift, flat back, and exhale, crown to the mat, forward fold. Inhale, arms up, and exhale, palms to heart center. And that's it, we're done.
Isn't this the point where we lie on the floor and do Savasana or something?
Yes.
Take a nap.
Joey, thank you. Nap would also work. Joey, thank you so much for bringing us through that. I feel really invigorated. I think sun salutations are a great way to start and end your day.
Yes.
Not just your practice.
Yes,
I think it's a
for
lot of fun
sure.
to do.
Especially in the morning, it really gets the body kind of warmed up, the joints get nice and mobile, and it reminds me to breathe as well,
Breathing.
because sometimes I forget.
Anyway, we are going to go for today's episode of Kickback with Kelly and Barbara. Thanks for joining us. Remember to take part in our giveaway on our Facebook page, telling us what is the one thing that you can't leave the house with.
You might just walk away with a $50 voucher from Lash Inc.
Join us on Friday. We're going to be discussing the 4-day work week. Do you think it would work in Singapore? Well,
Yes.
we're going to bring in the experts to find out. Make sure you're joining us then, 8 p.m. on Friday. This is Kickback with Kelly and Barbara. Bye-bye.